Right, we are live. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Tour Tuesday. We are super excited to be joined this afternoon by our friend Erin from Family Service Agency. So, after our introduction video, we'll go ahead and get started with the interview. All right. Hi, Erin. Thank you for joining
Hi,
me this afternoon.
thanks. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk about all of the amazing work that you guys do in the DeKalb community. Can you share with us your role at Family Service Agency?
Sure. So I am the Director of Business Operations. So I work very closely with all of the departments in making sure that things are working effectively in the operational role and the day-to-day business aspects of the agency are coming together. I've been with the agency for almost 8 years, and I've had various roles within the agency. And so it's given me a very well depth of what the agency does and how we're here to help people.
Awesome. Well, that kind of leads into my next question. I know that Family Service Agency houses several different community programs. Can you elaborate on those programs for us?
Sure, I definitely can. So we have 5 different programs. We consider ourselves an umbrella agency. And so our 5 programs consist of our Center for Counseling, which is our foundational program. Back in 1956, when we started with counseling, and we continue that to this day, and it has grown by leaps and bounds since then. And we're really there to provide any type of mental health services to individuals who could benefit from that. Those that are facing everyday life challenges or things that come up, so maybe like grief, depression, anxiety. During the pandemic, we've had a very large increase in individuals seeking services, as this has definitely been a time when new challenges have arisen for people and how to find the tools and resources to face those challenges and overcome them. So that's our Center for Counseling. Our next program is our Children's Advocacy Center. They also work very closely with our Center for Counseling, but in a different way. So the Children's Advocacy Center is a neutral third party that coordinates the investigation of a child abuse case. So when there is a disclosure by a child of something happening, we are one of the first people who are called afterwards, and we work with a multidisciplinary team of DCFS, law enforcement, state's attorney, medical, and mental health providers to coordinate that child-friendly forensic interview. This is very important. Prior to these interviews happening back in the day, a child would have to repeat their story multiple times. And that was just re-victimizing the child. And now they're able to tell their truth one time. All parties come together in an observation room, actually where I'm sitting. And so then the child can share their story in this, and there's truth in this safe place. And then we can work with them and start the healing process and find out what happened, a whole bunch of things. But that's what the Advocacy Center does. And then we have that healing portion. That's where our Center for Counseling comes in. We work with the kiddos to start that healing process as well as with the families. So we kind of all work together on that department there. We have the Community Action Program. They are the newest program that we have welcomed into the family. They work with low-income individuals and families on the road to self-sufficiency. And that is done through comprehensive, intensive case management and finding resources, tools, guidance, referrals on that path. So whether it might be finding a job or maybe a higher paying job, interview coaching, might be budgeting, time management. Currently right now during COVID, we're assisting with rent and utility financial assistance. So there's a variety of things that we can do on that path to self-sufficiency with individuals. We also have our senior services, which works with all of our individuals who are 55 and older. And what they're doing is they provide 4 senior center activity centers. They're affectionately called Club 55. And it's a great place for seniors to just go have fun and enjoy themselves. They socialize, have physical activity. We do education presentations, just informational presentations, a whole bunch of things. But really what it is to keep that mentally, physically, socially active. It's amazing how much those components really plays a factor into our aging and being able to be independent longer and all these different things. We've realized, especially now with the pandemic, how much socialization affects our mental capacity. Those that have been isolated a lot, you'll start to see that they may have increases of dementia because it has been proven that isolation and that reduction or that increase in isolation can lead towards dementia. They've been correlated to each other. So it's important to keep all those different aspects going. So we're always fun times at the senior center. And then we have youth mentoring, and that does just that. We provide positive adult role models who are non-relatives to youth who need and want a mentor in their life. And really just being there for them, having that positive influence, someone to talk to, someone who they can call their friend, that isn't necessarily their parent and aunt and uncle, things like that. So doing a lot of good stuff through that program as well. So we're quite busy over here with all these different programs, and there's always something going on. You never know whether it's a special event, a community event, you never know.
I love it. You guys are definitely busy. You kind of already answered this question, but I don't know if you know this, but each quarter we send out a 2-in-1 newsletter to community stakeholders. And I know from doing the report that Family Service Agency is one of the top referred agencies in the community. And I know you mentioned that your services picked up during the pandemic. Was there, how did you guys have to change services offered, or were there new services that you offered due to the pandemic or anything like that?
Yeah. So, March 2020 definitely started the change for a year. We were very fortunate. We're in a new building in September of 2019. And when we moved in and we planned this building, we implemented a technological infrastructure that allowed us to pivot immediately when we got notice that we were sheltering in place and we had to start working remote. So our services never ceased when the pandemic came. We just continued right on. We moved everybody remotely, and it was like nothing ever happened. Everything was the same. There was only one thing that changed, and that was we could not see people face to face. So instead, we provided telehealth services, whether it was video, phone. We utilized our Dropbox outside the office a lot so that we could, people could just drop materials off instead of having to wait for people to be here or whatever it may be. So we just had to pivot, and we did it wonderfully, I think, and never skipped a beat. So our community action changed from providing the day-to-day case management to working with people, and this started at about June, July, working with people who were negatively impacted by COVID financially. So those who had a reduction in hours or lost their jobs, and they were therefore becoming financially behind on rent, maybe utilities, things like that. So through the CARES Act, we started to provide financial assistance. And then we partnered with the city of DeKalb because they also had funding for rent and utility assistance. So we partnered with them on that as well to provide that to the city of DeKalb residents. And all through that, we also saw our mental health numbers increase, again, telehealth. And just really was seeing how we were just making sure that any barrier was broken if we could, and really making sure that there was ease of access to services as best as we could. We provided an outdoor gazebo. So for kiddos who were having counseling sessions and they couldn't do telehealth, we met outdoors. We got a jungle gym type thing and did stuff outside. So we were creative as well in how we could provide services to our clients. Unfortunately, our senior services, we did have to suspend services because majority of that is face-to-face and didn't have any alternatives. But instead, what we did was we called everybody every week. Okay. And we were making about 300 phone calls every week and touching base with them, seeing how they were doing. Some people, it might have been just a 5-minute phone call. Some people, it was an hour and a half. They just wanted to, I know, it was like they just wanted to tell us everything that was going on, which was great. And that's what we're there for. So we really just really did a lot. We pivoted and we moved forward. We got back into the office full time here in May. And we are seeing clients both in person and still through telehealth. And we're doing the best we can. We have found that telehealth is probably never going to go away.
Right.
We're going to continue with that because it works best for some people. And so we do what we can to meet people where they are and continue to provide services.
That's awesome. Awesome, Erin. So my next question, when I look at the mission of Family Service Agency and the mission of Kishwaukee United Way, they're similar in that both of our agencies are seeking to improve and strengthen the community. Mm-hmm. So how do you think that the partnership with the United Way helps carry out your mission and meet your goals as an agency?
Oh, sure. So United Way has been a wonderful partner to us, both financially, a wonderful supporter through your allocation process and people who give to United Way, and being able to give us financial support so that we can continue to do our mission and meet people with unrestricted funds. But also together in our partnership, it has been advantageous to be partners with United Way because you have such a broader reach. We are both countywide pretty much. And so you United Way interacts with some different populations or audiences than what necessarily Family Service Agency. And we're only so many people. So together, being out in the community, fighting that outreach really adds to the ability for both of our agencies in connecting to folks, finding out what the resources is, what's available, and making sure that people are getting the help that they need. And United Way has been a great supporter. We're very appreciative of it. And we always try to work together and thinking together of how can we move forward in filling any needs or gaps that our communities might have.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So you know that Kishwaukee United Way, we have 3 impact areas that we focus on here. Education, health, and financial stability, or meeting basic needs. Which impact area would you say that Family Service Agency most aligns with?
So that's a hard one because it's like all 3.
I know, right?
So I write the grant for United Way every year, and I'm like, I only can pick one. Because now we're providing that financial support and we're providing education or connections to education. And you look at all of them. So really we do all 3, but when you look at it, and we do the health or meeting basic needs. So it's hard to pinpoint just one. Right. Because we do so much.
Right.
If I had to pick a main aspect, I would say health. In the aspects that we are assisting people or providing services that meet their mental health services, which also when you think about community action and on the road to self-sufficiency, that leads towards having good medical health availability and opportunities available, or like insurance and things like that, or whatever it may be for that individual.
Right.
You look at our Children's Advocacy Center, our kiddos and our families who come in who have just had their lives just unbelievably, I don't even know how to describe it, and to be able to start that healing process, which again leads towards a whole other aspect of whether it's medical, mental health, different aspects of health. So that's probably what I would say is more towards our main aspect, but really we're all three.
Right.
So that's how we look at things. We try to really help everybody in all ways we can, because it's really a wraparound service in different aspects that the individual needs assistance with.
Right. I want to commend you guys on kind of being at the forefront, especially throughout the pandemic, and being adaptable and being creative in the way that you provide services, because it's definitely important. And we definitely recognize and appreciate that here at the United Way. My last question for you today, Erin, are there any community goals or initiatives that you're working on over at Family Service Agency that people can get involved with?
Well, as far as, let's say, volunteering wise, volunteering, we're always looking for different volunteers, especially with our youth mentoring program. That is a volunteer-based program, so we're always needing mentors for our kiddos, whether it's meeting with a child 8 hours a month or every other week in the schools at lunchtime, depending on what the schools decide to do for the fall school year. So as far as volunteer opportunities goes, that's a big one.
Okay.
Another big one is just coming out to the senior centers and interacting. We have a pen pal program. We also have a senior connection program, which is being a friendly visitor to seniors who are homebound and isolated. So it's kind of like youth mentoring, but for older adults. So maybe just spending some time with folks chatting or playing cards, whatever it may be. But when you look at the bigger picture, as well as our agency, we always have volunteer opportunities with our fundraising events and coming out and supporting us with our fundraising events, whether it be in the spring with our Walk to End Child Abuse, our bowling event, whatever it may be, coming out to those events and supporting. Bigger picture projects, we're excited. We are going to be working on our prevention and outreach, and really taking that to the next level and providing so much more as our services grow, and providing those opportunities and getting out there even more in the community so that people are even more aware. There's so many folks out there that we haven't had a chance to touch base with or share about what we do. And through our prevention outreach, we'll be able to do that, provide more educational opportunities, prevention opportunities, child abuse. So we're looking forward to that. And we're always looking forward to other projects that are happening. It seems that we're on the downswing of the pandemic. We hope we're on the downswing of the pandemic. So as we start to start to go into back to what life was kind of like before it, seeing what that brings and what we need to do to be involved and to help better our communities, strengthening individuals, being there for folks, providing those resources and guidance, and looking at what is going on in our communities and being there for them.
Awesome. For any volunteer opportunities, is it best to contact your main number, or are there specific contact methods for each program?
So we have our website, fsadecalcounty.org. Also contact the main number, share with the receptionist what you're looking to do, and they will direct you to the appropriate person who is coordinating that. and go from there. So there's definitely opportunities through there and checking out what we have going on through our website.
Awesome. Well, that's all I had today, Erin. I appreciate you taking the time. And I look forward to connecting with you and Family Service Agency in the future to see how we can maybe do some outreach and things like that together.
Oh, definitely. We would love to do outreach together. There's just so much there's just not enough time in the world sometimes.
I know, right? So many things to do, so many ideas. But I'm excited. I look forward.
Yes. Yeah, we do too. We're very excited about the taking our prevention education to the next level and really just broadening that horizon and seeing what else we can do and add to our services through that. So we're looking really forward to it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll talk soon. Have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, Sharon. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.